Hey, everybody. I'm sitting here with Dr. Phil Dembo, and thanks for joining us, Dr. Phil.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Matt.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you and talk, and especially now with times being so uncertain, and you're one of the wisest people I know, and just with your background of training Hall of Fame athletes and top-notch professionals. I think it's just a great time to talk to you about like how to stay focused and sane during these uncertain times that we're kind of living in at the moment. And like one of my favorite phrases is hard times are inevitable, but misery is optional. And we
Love
get
that.
to choose during these times how we're going to react to these
Right.
situations. And like I'm still having fun and enjoying life, and looking at what I'm grateful about, and honing in on those things instead of looking at the other things that are negative. And I've always been working on those type of things since I worked for Nightingale Conant and learned all those techniques. And so,
Sure. Yeah.
but what would you say like are some of the best tips of like staying focused right now during these like chaotic times?
Well, one, thanks for having me, and two, everybody out there, all of us who are in a business in a new industry that is turbulent in good times,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean, we've all learned to sort of pivot throughout the last 2 years and year and a half since everything CBD became, federally legal and all. Um, it is to recognize one, as much as we want to be hopeful and as much as we want to be cheerful and grateful, we also want to be mindful of what's real. And so this is a great time. So as the metaphor goes with athletes, right? One could look at this as the off season, or one could actually look at this as when you go onto the disabled list.
yeah.
This is when our businesses have gone on the disabled list,
Yeah, a
right?
lot of them have. And it could be a positive thing in a way. Like I noticed with myself, like I've been able to breathe in the past week. Our industry goes so fast that a lot of people are not around as much. And the past week or so, I'm like, okay, like I
Well,
feel like,
that's right. And that's
kind of
what
a,
you teach an athlete is that doing nothing is not doing nothing.
yeah.
Resting your injury, learning to rehab, right? This is the time when everybody can potentially really look at, especially with guidance from people like you and other people in the business. Am I doing it? Is there anything I would change? This is a great time to slow down enough to shore up your infrastructure.
Yeah, like a time
Not
of
just
reflection.
Exactly. It's not just to pivot or lay people off or worry about sales. There's all of that, right? And there's going to be a small business loan thing coming from the federal government that everybody's going to be eligible for. But it really is to breathe and recognize your career's not over, right? This is a period of time where you have to decide, what does rehab actually look like for you? When Hall of Famers are just beyond being a Hall of Famer. If somebody has a long career, like we didn't open up these businesses to be around for 8 months or a year and a half, right? There are some people who want to you know get crazy big, sell, become public, all of that.
Yeah.
And then there are people who sort of settle down into, where's my niche in the marketplace? And today is a great time to look at, am I doing it correctly? Is my accounting correctly? Are there things that I need to get done legally to shore up, to make sure? And is there a strategic plan of where I take this, either online, or what are the new products that I could be using and formulating and working on?
I agree.
Like
Like it's,
my vendors, this is the time for really the reflection needs to be strategic. And
yeah.
I think it empowers us. I mean, it has always empowered for me. When any of my players were ever on the disabled list, it wasn't how fast can I get back to playing. It's what do I want to look like when I get back to playing?
Wow, I like that. Like, because you could really take a step back and takes two steps forward by being a positive and really thinking through all this and being strategic, like you're saying. And like another thing that I thought about, like when I had my brand Hemp Logica, email sequences were always something that I would say, oh, I'm going to get to those at some point, and they would always go down the list. And so you should have like a 12 to 18 month sequence laid out, ideally, but that was always something I put on the back
Right.
burner. So that's something you could be working on, your email sequences to your customers. And if you're a brick and mortar store, if you don't have your own brand and you're not online, you should probably take a look at selling online, because or doing delivery, things like that, because things seem to be changing for the next few months at the very least.
And I think that's brilliant. I think you operate very similar to a restaurant, right? In that, our products are products that many people use in daily life, like they do food, right? You may not be growing your business, but you want to stay in communication with your community of customers and make sure that they're being attended to in creative ways. It also keeps people employed and maybe actually employs more people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love what your analogy of being on the disabled list. That's a good analogy, and just looking at it in a positive way about how can I go forward after this break. But then on the other flip side, all I do is talk to CBD companies, and I know a lot of them. There's a few like Kavana, your company, that seem to be busier than ever right now.
Right.
And so it's depends on where your opportunities lie, I guess. Like because I noticed with Kavana and what you've been doing in the past 2-3 weeks, it seems like you're like busier than ever. It seems like there's more opportunities than ever coming to you.
Well, this is the time that you communicate really clearly and partner with the vendors and the customers that how they're pivoting. So you pivot together,
Yeah.
right? So, there are people, we were talking before we started recording, that, there are manufacturing companies who are helping out and they're manufacturing masks when they were manufacturing hoverboards before.
Yeah.
It's like, but the CBD industry, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, really, it's the reason I'm in it. This is about wellness, right? And people are freaking out. And just knowing that you can get your whatever it is you can get, right? Like if you're a person who takes turmeric every day for digestion, right? You got to make sure that you can get turmeric either online or you can get it from wherever. There are people who are really relying on their products.
Yep.
And those are the people that are going to keep us going through. We're busier than ever because we predicted this and we planned for this, almost better, if you will, than we planned for success. Because when you're in the marketplace and everybody else is in the marketplace, it's a scramble. But when people slow down, it was like, how do we keep people working? What are the products that we know are still selling? Who are our customers that are selling through delivery, through online, that are still going to need the products? And so that we could keep busy. Now, keeping busy is not necessarily growing. We're kind of unique in that I think we're going to grow through this process. But the other piece of this, and this is why I think your show is so important, and your accelerator is so important, and those kinds of platforms, is that this isn't just doing business, right? We're part of the culture.
I was just going to say that, like, one of the smartest things that you just said to me was about joint ventures and teaming up with other companies. And in this time, especially, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to do these kind of joint venture opportunities right now. And
Right.
Those are the companies that are going to make it through all this and get ahead and actually maybe even thrive during this time.
Well, and who knows, this is sort of like the guy on the disabled list who maybe can never throw 100 miles an hour anymore, but we spent this time talking about a slider and a curveball, right? This is the time that we're actually having a meeting later this week with our formulators, just talking about new products that should come to the market when the market opens up.
Yeah.
Not just let's maximize or monopolize on the fact that people want hand sanitizer and they're freaking out that they want hand sanitizer. Now, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
To get hand sanitizer out there and other products.
Yeah.
But for me, there's this natural human need for a conclusion. So when you're laying there and you just had your surgery, you think your career is over. It's not an easy shift into disabled list and a shift back out.
Yeah.
Right? As leaders of companies, as whether you're a small two-man firm doing a great online business, or you have a large group of people that you have to figure out how to keep them employed, it really is about not putting a disastrous conclusion to this.
100%.
Right? It really is about what is the opportunity. So I say this all the time, right? As entrepreneurs, we recognize the challenge in a new business. What we don't often recognize is that every opportunity creates challenges, but every challenge creates a new opportunity.
Yep, that's like, and I think the most successful entrepreneurs, like I was talking to Cody Alt, who started Pure Canna,
Right.
and he said the other day, I don't believe in failures; they're just lessons.
Right.
And he just keeps going forward. Or even my old partner Ryan Murphy, who's very successful in the dispensary world. Before they were giving out licenses, we were getting raided one time by the police, and they're kicking the door in, and he looks over at me and is like, "Isn't this fun?" And he was serious, and I was like, "I guess," but he was enjoying it. So you can take anything and spin it into a positive. It's about the mindset of the person.
And really, that's the truth. I mean, we hear these stories that have never been us, right? Senator McCain, 5.5 years and a prisoner of war. He was a senator of Arizona for many years and passed away.
Yeah.
But we think about that and we're like, wow, that's amazing, right? But the question is, what do you do every day for 5 years in a prisoner of war camp that allows you not only to survive, but not to be a complete neurotic when you come out of it?
Exactly.
Right? That you actually thrive, because what happens to us is we have to be where we're at when we're there. And entrepreneurs have a hard time with that. Business owners have a hard time because we're always projecting revenue. We're always projecting the future, right? We're going to be this. And when we started our business, we were going to be public by, a certain time we're going to go public. And my job was to always like, let's just stay here, right? We're here right now in this world. I'm stuck in St. Louis, Missouri in my home, right? Our company's in Oklahoma, right? The governor's going to get on the television in an hour and probably put more restrictions in place.
Yeah.
What are we going to do now? And how are we going to do it? And when you do that, I really think beyond the product that we all believe in, it's the process and what we do in the process. And I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal no matter what, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I think like whether your business is slowing down right now or it's speeding up and you're taking advantage, pivoting on different opportunities, they can be positive in either direction. On my consulting side, a few of my clients have put us on hold right now, which is understandable. And so it's actually giving me like I said, a breath, I'm like, and it's kind of a good thing right now.
Right.
So it's like, you just got to look, it's all about how you look at things.
But again, I think you go back to you have to stay in the truth, right? There's a lot of people listening where the financial pressure of not selling product, right? Whether or not you could withstand not getting your fees for a period of time, right? So there is a reality to that.
Yeah, it's
But
scary.
in that reality, you have to look at the truth, right? You have to look at the SBA is going to have a loan that allows you to pay your rent and pay your employees and stay open,
Yeah.
right? Maybe not stay open for sale, but stay open and alive and moving forward. It's not pretty, but it's good. Now, the beautiful thing about that is that they're pushing for that to be something that we don't have to pay back when this is all over.
Really? Wow.
Right? So again, business owners could either be freaking out or they could be contacting their accountant to find out, how do we sign up for this? Right?
Exactly.
How do we get this money in so we can keep our business going?
And
because not everybody can afford to keep it going on their own.
And anybody that's watching, reach out to me and I can introduce you to my accountant if you need somebody. She's working on that. She posted about that actually yesterday, that she's helping. She has over 1,000 applications so far that she's helping with. She has a lot of employees in her company as well. So they're getting a big response on that SBA loan.
Yeah, I think that's really, really critical. And I think people are doing it. It's really smart. And, and again, it's only disastrous if you believe it's disastrous. And I'll tell you a story. The number one soccer player in the United States 20 years ago was a young man who was either going to get into the NFL, because back then, if you were a great soccer player, you became a place kicker. And NFL,
oh, yeah.
Right? Or he was going to go do the pro circuit, which is bigger and bigger now than it actually was then. And this young man, unfortunately, he was in his car and he was crossing railroad tracks and his car died and he got hit by a train.
Oh, man.
And he broke every bone in his body. He had 32 surgeries over 5 years.
Man.
And today, he is one of the top golf pros in Arizona. They didn't even think he'd walk, but we wouldn't allow for that. So he took the same gifts he had as a great competitor, and he let the circumstances be the truth. And so there was a time we had some dark years for sure, right? And he didn't know if he'd walk, he didn't know if he'd live, all of those kinds of things.
Wow.
But as we started coming out of it, it was like, you're still an athlete, right? You'll never really be able to play soccer again or kick in the NFL, but it doesn't mean you don't think like an athlete or act like an athlete.
That's amazing. Did he have a golf background prior to that, I would assume?
He had just a recreational, as most athletes love to play golf.
Wow, so he just honed in on it, and that's incredible.
And we focused in and said, you're going to be the best at this, even if it's an abbreviated version of what you thought, because the content's not relevant. If I sell you 10 products or I sell you 10,000 products, my goal is that those 10 products get there on time and is the best product, best packaged product I can provide you.
Yeah.
Right. And understand that those things have to be equal right now. We just got hit by a train.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking.
Exactly. And what are we going to do with that? And I love that, because he was not raised to be a hero, right? John McCain wasn't raised to be a hero. Circumstances put them in that.
Yeah. And they chose.
And they chose to rise above it.
Yeah. And that's
all.
And
are we going to rise above it?
Exactly. And that's why I built the CBD Business Success Facebook group, is to help each other. So if anything that I can do to help, reach out to me, and Dr. Phil, the same thing.
Absolutely.
We're here to help. And we're going to be launching the CBD sorry, my mind isn't working today. The accelerator, the CBD Business Accelerator, will be launching in April. And on April 12th, I'm doing a live mastermind with a bunch of speakers. And so that'll be launching on April 12th. I'll be posting about that, and we'll be telling you guys more about the accelerator, which is cbdbusinessaccelerator.com. And that's just going to be a better version of the free group with just a ton more information. You could sell your products, and I'll show you guys a tour soon about that. And Dr. Phil is a part of the accelerator. We're going to be going really deep into different things that Dr. Phil knows about, which is a lot more than what we're talking about today. So we're going to be, talking to members of Dr. Phil's team at Kavana as well. And so there's a lot of great people on staff there that we're going to be getting deeper into talking about compliance and KPIs and SOPs and all the acronyms that we all love.
Exactly.
But yeah, and Dr. Phil, if there's anything, words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with today, I would appreciate it. And it's been good talking to you. I feel even more calm after talking to you. So
Well, thank you for that. And always thank you for letting me come on your show. And
anytime.
What I really want everybody to understand is, and this is, we could do a whole show on this, but I'm going to say it anyway as we close out here. Every process demands structure, and every structure protects process. So if you're stuck at home now, if there's nowhere to go for dinner anymore, if you're working on all of this from your home office, create a structure.
Yep.
Right? Create a schedule, right? Create a discipline for you, for your team, right? Get on Zoom, meet with people, and don't just do it randomly as it comes up. Remain a company, right? You don't need four walls to remain a company, right? You need the intention to show up and provide that structure. As leaders of our company, everybody relies on that. Our customers rely on that.
Yep.
And I think it's really, really a big deal. And I wish everybody good luck and everybody to stay safe.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Phil, for spending the time with us. And like we said, we mean it. Reach out to us if you need us for anything. Absolutely. And we're happy to help. And we'll be seeing you guys next time.
Thank you.